Hi, everyone. When I first entered into a liturgical tradition from years back, I had been a Christian all my life since I was very, very little. I was raised in a Christian home, but it wasn't until much later that I entered into a liturgical tradition that really wanted to take advantage of the historic Christian calendar. Now, what I mean by Christian calendar? Well, for many centuries, the Christian church in many places of the world, especially prior to coming to the New World, had really laid out the entire calendar and saw it as a series of seasons for celebrating different aspects of the work of Christ on our behalf and the way in which a Christian will reflect on that and think about it in a distinct fashion, forming rites and rituals to commemorate those aspects of God's goodness to us all throughout the calendar year. Well, as a result, we have what's referred to as a Christian calendar. And many people are aware of at least some aspects of the Christian calendar as it relates to Christmas and Easter. They know that those occasions happen every year. Many people will oftentimes, there are some people who will just neglect the gathering in church except for those times, because otherwise they'll upset the in-laws because they didn't go to church, at least during Christmas or Easter. We call them creasters, which is fine. At least they have those important. But bottom line is the entire calendar year is filled full of things that focus on the goodness of God and what He's done through us throughout the Bible, throughout time, and our response to Him gets focused in a very specific way based upon where you're at in the liturgical calendar. Well, the liturgical calendar year really begins with the season of Advent, which is that time of preparation leading up to Christmas, which is the first coming of Christ as a baby. And so obviously we celebrate that, but there's a time of preparation. Advent is a time of preparation leading up to Christmas. And then there's that Epiphany season where we celebrate the time when Jesus was revealed to the Gentiles and the three wise men, the Magi, came from the east to bring their gifts to Him. And then the season of Epiphany is followed by the season of what's referred to as the pre-Lenten season, where that's period where you're just getting ready to enter into Lent, which is the intensive time of preparation for the coming of Easter. Well, then there's several weeks when we focus on not just all the celebrations and all the rites and all the pomp and circumstance and all the high holy practices of Easter, but there's several weeks when we continue to reflect on that until the time of Pentecost, for the coming of the Holy Spirit. And then after that, there's a long season referred to as the season of Trinity, the Trinity season, where all of the goodness of God as has been played out throughout the rest of the Scriptures and is explored and celebrated throughout all of our readings and all of our celebrations. And liturgically, the color green is most often used as part of our vestments because it's the color of growth. You're growing as a Christian, and in light of everything that's God has done for you, what is going to be your response back to Him? And the Trinity season will carry through the rest of the calendar year. With multiple, 20-something Sundays, all, and contained within the Trinity season. Sometime in August, I probably will get the date wrong, but sometime in August or September, you would wind up having the 12th Sunday after Trinity and the 15th Sunday after Trinity, and that's how these are commemorated. And you track ways in which the whole liturgical church, all the Catholic traditions are reading the common verses of the Bible and all are maintaining common prayers throughout that time because they can track what Sunday they're in according to the liturgical calendar at the time. Well, the Trinity season carries us all the way through to the end of November, where Advent starts all over again. So in essence, the Christian life winds up being cyclical in this way, where you always, every year after year, you have a season to look forward to. Think about you're able to engage it in a different way you did this year than the way you did last year. And none of it ever gets stale because you're different now than when you last encountered this season of the Christian calendar last time. And so since you are always changing, since God is always working on you, when you encounter the Epiphany season this year, you're different than last year. When you encounter Lent this year, you are different than you did last time. And so those disciplines, those ways in which you prepare for Easter. Well, now we are in the pre-Lenten season. We're about to enter the Lent season. And one of the last things that encapsulates and completes the pre-Lenten season is before you jump into this time of fasting and discipline, for our tradition, there are oftentimes that Tuesday, right before Ash Wednesday, right before that great season of discipline, the season of fasting and reflecting on, boy, what's wrong with me that God needs to work so hard at redeeming me. That's that last night of feasting is typically, in some cases, referred to as Mardi Gras or Fat Tuesday, because that's the last time you're going to eat fatty foods right before a beginning of a great fast. But in the Anglican tradition, and in some other traditions as well, it's referred to as Shrove Tuesday. And Shrove Tuesday has a tradition of basically cleaning out the cupboard. All those things that were kind of breakfast indulgences, bacon, eggs, pancake batter, everything that just is the comfort food, that ceremoniously it's kind of brought together. You clean out the pantry, bring it all together, and have your feast then on Shrove Tuesday, because you know that tomorrow starts the Great Fast. Now, when we talk about the Great Fast, does that mean everyone's just going to stop eating? That's a personal matter, and you're going to explore what disciplines are good for you to make Lent special. But nevertheless, as a matter of the church body coming together, Shrove Tuesday is a way of basically bringing all, again, cleaning what's extra of the pantry, bringing it together so that people can have their last feast before they all engage this time of intensive discipline together. So for us, the encapsulation of our pre-Lenten season is Shrove Tuesday. Others do Mardi Gras. For us, it's Shrove Tuesday. And as a result, we think about a time to be able to kind of think about what's that last feast, preparing ourselves for when we are going to go into the season of Lent. Many would engage in a time of individual confession, speaking with their priest or confessor or trusted spiritual advisor, saying, here's what I'm going to be working on during fast. Please pray for me. I need work. Well, that's true of everybody, so no one's an exception there. But that's confession, confession, gathering, feasting, all in preparation for that intensive time of Lent. You may not have the same tradition, or you may engage our tradition with us, but think about how in the Christian calendar, you're strategically at a specific point where you can say, I'm going to think specifically about this moment. How can I engage this best? And how can I make the most of the way in which the historic church has laid out the calendar for me so that every given time, every given day within the calendar year, I can live it with purpose under Christ. That's all I have for today. God bless you. If you enjoyed this content, please hit like and subscribe, and we will keep it up.